I don't know if you saw the news over the weekend. The Main Art Theater in downtown Royal Oak had on its marquee that it was going to be closing after 50 years. Still a rough time for the movie industry. Paul Glantz, co-founder and chairman of Emagine Entertainment, joins us now on the MegaCast. Great to have you back with us. How are you?
I'm great, Ronnie. Thanks for having me.
Happy Monday to you.
Thank you. Happy Monday to you.
So tell us, we're back open. Is it back to normal or still pretty slow?
Well, you know, we're building back, and I'm encouraged by the trend line. We've had almost a hockey stick type recovery in terms of patron count and revenue since January. And we're finding that each month we're successfully seeing more guests than the preceding month. So I'm very optimistic about our industry, especially given the fact that there's a lot of good product coming out very soon as well.
And really, when we're looking at this, Paul, you have to have great movies to get people back in the theater.
Yeah, that's certainly been one of our challenges, of course, that while the pandemic has been raging, Hollywood was very reluctant to give exclusive rights to theaters. And you can't really blame them under the circumstances. But at this point, it's safe to return. In fact, what's little known is that there had not been a single outbreak of COVID among moviegoers worldwide. Wow. So that's why I felt like maybe we were particularly singled out wrongly. But at this point in time, especially with the number of folks who have been vaccinated and so forth, it's time for me to say, come on down.
Concessions are back open?
Yes, we're fully open. We're subject to capacity constraints through the end of this month, and then on July 1st that goes away as well.
Because it doesn't matter if you try to make popcorn at home. Even when you try to get fancy with your popcorn at home, it never ever tastes as good as the popcorn at the movie theater.
Well, there's some certain secrets to it. You've got to cook it on very high heat. You've got to use plenty of oil. And the other thing I would tell you is that we're in the experience business these days. And you can make popcorn at home. It may not be as good as you know, but we've had to pick up our game. So, for example, now you can get olive oil popcorn, cheese corn, caramel corn, and mix them all together if you like. So we're trying to make it even more unique and special.
Yeah, my husband and I always have kind of the dispute when we go, because even before COVID, at least at the one in Birmingham, you could mix, like there were the different toppings you could sprinkle on your popcorn, like ranch and some of the other ones. And he always wants his plain. I always want mine this, but we're cheap, so we just get the huge big bucket to share. So it's great though. It feels so good to try to get back to normal, but I know the theaters still aren't quite as packed. But you've been so creative throughout this entire pandemic. I'm on the website and I'm excited about the flashback movies coming back to the theater. I want to see Jaws today.
My guess is you'll be able to see it. We're delighted to be showing some of those classic films. And that's been one of the survival techniques, right? During this period of time when Hollywood wasn't giving us anything new. Well, let's recycle some of the old that were particularly memorable.
And so with that, to Paul Glantz with us here on the MegaCast. He's the co-founder and chairman over at Emagine Entertainment. With that, throughout, because you have been pretty creative, what do you think is going to stick around?
I think, honestly, Ronnie, folks are yearning to be back to normal. I think once films like Fast and Furious 9 come out and we see some Marvel pictures and so forth, young people who have been, particularly resilient to this disease, I think will be early adopters. They'll be coming back in droves. And so I would respectfully tell you that I'm optimistic by the end of this year, this will all be in the rearview mirror. And as you said earlier, never to be repeated.
We hope so. And I will say, like, Black Widow is coming out July 9th. That is definitely a movie that you can't watch at home. You need to see that in the movie theater.
I agree with you. I think that it is a different experience watching films in a theater than it is at home. And again, it's incumbent upon us and as exhibitors to make that a really good experience. And that's what we're striving to do every day for our guests.
Paul, I know you guys are going to be hosting the Juneteenth Film Festival. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, when the unfortunate circumstances arose about a year ago, death of George Floyd and so forth, we felt like we needed to do something, but not just pay lip service to to our commitment. And so I'm a big believer in the value of education. And so I look at this as a wonderful opportunity to simultaneously highlight the artistic accomplishments of African-American artists, writers, producers, actors, actresses, and then concurrently use it as a platform to raise money for the United Negro College Fund. And so we're delighted to be holding the festival again this year, and we expect to make it an annual event here on out.
That's great to know. And so what are some of the movies that are going to be a part of this?
I don't have that right at my fingertips, but they're all on our website right now. And it's a lot of really interesting and artistically curated films. I'm not the expert when it comes to product. In fact, I'm the business guy.
Right.
Paul, you stay out of the picture world. You just handle the accounting and the finance, and we'll do the rest of it for you.
See, and that's why you build a team, right? You have a team. Everyone has their expertise.
And so I'd like to believe I'm reasonably smart enough to surround myself with people who know things that I don't know.
Paul Glantz with us here on the MegaCast. He's the co-founder and chairman for Emagine Entertainment. And with that, too, you talked a little bit about the business side. What has it been like for you trying to run this business over the past year, Paul?
Well, we're very fortunate that we went into it in good financial shape, and we're also blessed to have some terrific bankers that have supported us during this period of time. Our business is one that's very heavily laden toward fixed costs. We have occupancy, for example, and there's been no abatement whatsoever, for example, for property taxes. So we're paying real and personal property taxes while we're closed. We've typically got a mortgage payment on certain buildings. Others have rent. And so utilities, you name it. So we've got more fixed costs relative to a lot of businesses. And so it was really challenging to be able to continue to fund all those expenses, notwithstanding the fact there were times we had exactly zero revenue coming in. In fact, between, I think it was April 1 and December 31st, we had lost 97% of our revenue compared to the preceding year.
Wow. And you think about that from a business standpoint, trying to recover from it. But even as we start to reopen and so many of us start to go about life as we once knew it, we have to remember, so many places are still under capacity limits, but also there's the issue with employee shortages. Are you having a hard time getting enough employees to, be able to open the doors as long as you want them to be open?
We've certainly seen wage inflation, and we're paying our high school students $12 an hour, and so other wages go up commensurately. But I'll tell you what, we are very fortunate. We realize that the true underpinning of our business is the quality of our teammates. And so all of our general managers remained on full pay throughout the pandemic. We kept a lot of our assistant managers on for as long as we could. Then we also made the decision to continue to provide 100% company paid health insurance for our teammates who were furloughed. And I just didn't want folks to be able to make the decision or have to make a decision about, do I buy groceries or pay for my health insurance? And so we dug deep to be able to pay for those things and to try to treat our teammates, even those who were furloughed, with the utmost of grace. And I think it's paid dividends. We've got a lot of our teammates back. We have all the institutional knowledge. We have great general managers, assistant managers, pardon me. And I don't think we're in as bad shape as some businesses because of those techniques.
Yeah, that is one thing that we didn't hear a lot of people talking about was the insurance for so many of the employees as well when they were furloughed, and so it's really says a lot about you and the others involved with Emagine Entertainment that you recognize that and really work to try to survive and keep some of these employees on during the toughest time. And with that, Paul, too, you survived. Do you think that this year or next year is going to be a good year? Because one thing we know is people are so excited to get back to life. However, because of all the streaming services now, it's kind of taken away that excitement of going to the movie theaters because it's streaming at the same time that it's at the theater.
Well, our trade association, I think, characterized it properly. There's what they call a pandemic release model and a normal release model. And we were evolving out of the pandemic release model. Warner Brothers had announced earlier this year that it was going to simultaneously release all of its feature films on HBO Max plus theaters. But we've seen even Warner Brothers say that beginning in 2022, their feature releases will be coming first to theaters again. And Disney, I think, will be following a similar path, as well as the other major studios. And so it's true, and you were spot on, that the streaming competition, and we call it an indirect competitor, is becoming more prolific. And the in-home experiences, we know, have gotten so much better that's why we've had to pick up our game over the years. And I think we did the right thing by installing powered, heated, reclining chairs, offering multiple types of popcorn, being able to offer online ticket purchases. And the newest innovation we've got is that you're soon going to be able to buy all of your food and beverage on your smartphone before you arrive, and then we'll be happy to deliver it right to your seat.
What?
Yeah, so it's all about service.
Look at that. It's creating that experience that you can't get at home.
Mm-hmm. And better yet, Ronnie, we'll clean up after you, too.
Wow.
You know what? You can't beat that right there. Do you anticipate that the price of a ticket is going to have to go up, though?
No, I don't think so. We are big believers that our business is driven by volume. We need guests to come out and visit us, and so we're not inclined to increase ticket prices. We'd like to avoid that at all costs, to be honest with you. We're hoping, again, that maybe with a bit of reduction in capacity, we've seen Star Southfield close. There's a competitor of ours in Ann Arbor that's closed. We now know that the Maine has closed. We're hoping that with that slight constraint in capacity that we're going to be able to garner enough volume, additional volume, to enable us not to raise ticket prices.
Because at the same time, you have Birmingham 8 now?
We do. We had the privilege of entering into a lease with Ted Fuller, who was a terrific guy and run the theater himself for a few years. And, every business has its unique nuances. And I think Ted thought that, and we certainly tried to persuade Ted that we could run it as well, if not better than he had. And so lo and behold, we have the privilege of operating the Birmingham 8. It's open now for private parties, and we're going to be throwing the doors open, I think, full-fledged in a couple days.
So with that, again, Paul Glantz with us, co-founder and chairman, Emagine Entertainment. And Paul, I love Birmingham. When you go down and you see the marquee and people put messages. I think a few weeks ago, a guy proposed to his fiancée. And, luckily she said yes. But what a great memory. And, it makes you a part of the community as well.
Isn't it fun? And it really is a credit to the Illich organization that originally revamped that marquee and brought it back to life, and so we're just very fortunate to be successors to be able to maintain that tradition.
So we should note that the Juneteenth Film Festival is going on right now until July the 1st. So you can visit the Emagine Entertainment website to get more information about some of the movies as well as the times for those movies as well. And it's great to see that even in the middle of the pandemic, you're supporting such a great cause as well. We're
absolutely committed to it, Ronnie. We think it's the right thing, and if we can help some young person gain an education, then we know that it's going to benefit society overall.
Paul Glantz with us here on the MegaCast. Paul, anything maybe you want to add that we didn't mention before we say goodbye?
I don't have much more to say, but I would encourage your viewers to download our new app. It works on both iPhone as well as Android phones, and it's much improved. And it will allow you then to purchase your food and beverage in advance while you're choosing your reserved seats.
Yes, but I will say, and you don't want to be left out, because there's nothing worse than going to the ticket box and then trying to pick a seat, and it's like, no, that one's taken, that one's taken, that one's taken.
That's right.
You want a good seat. Hey, Paul, I will say, I'm looking on the website, how in the world is Jerry Maguire 25 years old? Jerry Maguire. But you know what? For all of us that saw it back in the day, we didn't age 25 years, right?
No.
I'm 48. Yeah.
So as part of the flashback, Jerry Maguire, 25th anniversary, opening June 20th. I love the flashback. What a great way to kind of bring back those memories from back in the day. Paul Glantz, we always appreciate your time.
Thanks, Ronnie. It's a real pleasure being with you.